Okay, so first question, it's recording. So what does being a woman or girl mean to you?
Okay, so as I was mentioning before,
We set the camera up.
Pardon?
Before we set the camera up.
Yeah, before we started our recording, as a girl, as a young person, I always felt like I really wanted to make a good representation of what a female could be. Like, I wanted to be really successful in, what did I want to do? I don't know, like make lots of money and be really organised and onto it. And I didn't want to have kids, and if I did, I wanted to be like later after I had a career and like proved all that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to be one of those, I don't know, you know how you like run like a girl, or you're being such a girl, or like all that just ridiculous stereotypical shit, which kind of, is it still recording?
Yes, it is, but I'm just trying to figure out, because you look really white, but continue.
It kind of indicates that women are weak and useless and scared of everything somehow. So I guess...
Where do you think you got that from, though?
Ooh.
Was that like...
Well, society movies. In movies. So often. The more I know, the more when I watch a movie I go, that's shit. That's ridiculous. Like, I was watching this movie with Celia, and it had this moment where, like, it was a chick flick. It was a really lame chick flick. But there was, like, this really emotional movie that this chick always cried on. And then they were having this discussion. There was, like, 4 of them. 2 guys and 2 girls. And the girls were discussing this movie, and they were getting really emotional. And then the guys just kind of looked at each other in that really blokey way that's like, these chicks are crying, what do we do? And me and Celia are like, fuck off, come on. I'm like one of the last person to cry in a movie, and when I do, it's the most weirdest things. And you hear stories about how, you know, full-grown men start crying, and it's like, that's fine. That, you know, it shouldn't be this weird backlog of ideas that we have to live up to, you know, what our stereotype is, and not be an emotional man, or be an emotional, pathetic woman. Yeah.
The second question was, do you think that being a girl is very tied into your sexuality?
Tied into my sexuality?
Like, some people feel very sexual and very womanly, like, and other people don't.
Possibly sometimes. I like that I'm a woman. Like, I've asked a lot of people, if you could change to be a man, would you? And a lot of people say yes, because they think it would be easier and, you know, stuff would come to them better. But I like being a woman. I like that we're different, what we have going for us. I like that, you know, I feel gorgeous and feminine, and that's something that I wouldn't want to give up. But it's not like I feel like that's an integral part of me. I think if I was a man, I'd still feel very similar. I'd be, you know, relatively proud of myself, and like a lot of men are.
Do you feel separate from men? That's the third question.
Oh, okay.
Like, do you feel really different from them? Like, do you feel like you don't have anything in common?
I feel like I have to prove myself a lot more than a man does.
Is that proving yourself to men or to other women?
More to myself, I guess. For example, in primary school, I was really strong. Like, I worked my ass off to be, like, muscular, and I used to, like, beat people at arm wrestles, and I felt really great about it. And then, as soon as they hit puberty, of course, they're all stronger than me.
Yeah.
And that made me feel like I had to work harder to do what I wanted to do, because even if they weren't doing anything, they were still beating me at everything, and I'm like, this sucks. Like, why don't I get that, like, pump of all those ridiculous, manly, stupid strength things? Yeah. I got, you know, periods. Yay!
If the world was built by a woman, what do you think it would look like?
Oh, okay. I found it in... I'm not 100% sure. I've kind of based that on just vaguely what I've seen and what I've heard about different scenarios. Like this, some sort of monkeys. I can't remember what they were. But there's this river, and the river stops the monkeys from getting from one side to the other. And on one side, the men are really dominant, and it's quite an aggro monkey society. And then on the other side, the herd was run by the women, and it seemed a lot. They were a lot calmer, and they were a lot more community based. They didn't have as many fights, and I guess a lot of that I do probably agree with, like men, because originally, the idea of being a male is to fight off the bad people and to keep your, family safe, and then the idea of the woman was to produce the babies and continue on, we do need a little bit of help in that, and continue on the generations and stuff like that, because to be honest, when you're pregnant, you're not going to go like fight off a panther or something. So I think we're taught to, because of that inherent factor, we're just better at dealing with things in a calmer manner. So possibly less violent, but I don't know. It's really hard to guess.
What annoys you about being a woman, both mentally and physically?
That I bleed on like every sheet I have. So annoying. Yeah, periods and emotional shit around that is pretty annoying. Sorry about my swearing. I don't usually, but I'm not happy with me sometimes. What was it? What annoys me about being a woman?
Or hate about being a woman or whatever?
Hate about it? I don't know. I don't think it's a lot of the aspects about being a woman that I hate. It's people's opinions on it. How everybody seems to have something to say about what you do with your body.
But what do you like / love about being a woman? / girl / female thing.
Female thing? Everything that I know about it, I guess. It's hard to judge, because like obviously I've never been a man or anything other than a woman as far as I know.
Maybe in a past life or something.
Yeah, possibly, but I can't remember that very well. And so there's only like vague aspects of being a man that I can slightly understand. And so the idea of being a woman is just kind of gets a bit confuddled with just me. So the different aspects, like obviously there's aspects that I want to improve about myself, and I'm always striving to be a better person and do things better and deal with situations better and stop doing that or that other thing. And I guess a lot of those kind of gets clumped with the idea of being a woman pretty quickly, because that's just part of who I am. It's kind of like the same as it's really hard to guess what it'd be like to be from a different culture, because I don't really know. Yeah.
Saying, did you sort of, like in my case, I probably learned most about what it was to be a woman from my mother. Was that true for you, or did you have someone else that you felt like you had that relationship with, or did you kind of just develop your own idea on your own?
I'm a big believer of a lot of the things that you learn and a lot of the things that can affect your personality and aims in life you learn at quite a young age. And because I do remember a lot of that time, but it's always difficult to tell exactly where you get your information from, because as a young person you just kind of like, as soon as you learn something you're like, oh, I've known that forever. Makes perfect sense, you kind of just take it in your stride. But I guess because my mother was a single mum, and there was a lot of things that I don't think that she did, that as a kid I really didn't get. I don't think she did it right. I didn't understand a lot of her relationships. I didn't get why she was on the dole, or why she didn't have like a career. And I guess that kind of, movies and books definitely affect different things. And different people. My grandmother grew up quite nearby, so she was always quite interesting, but she never really told any stories or information. Most of it you just kind of learn through experiences and information. Probably books about various different aspects. Yeah.
Do you, like, so there wasn't, like, a person that you felt like you learned that from? It was just kind of from everything?
Yeah, just from little aspects were picked up in different places. More my passions against or for aspects about a person, I definitely remember. But it's hard to really place my finger on the concept of being a woman and where I really got that from. You know, like a big sister is definitely also quite a big one, because you observe her and what she does with her life and what her aspirations are or what she doesn't do. Yeah. No, the aspect of a man is probably took me a lot longer to get sorted.